Now at 5, an Arizona man who made millions off a sober living scheme has been sentenced for his role in the Medicaid fraud.
The scandal took off during the pandemic as suspects fraudulently billed for services that were rarely provided. Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum is here with details. Justin.
Mark, Ellen, since 2020, there have been 73 indictments related to Medicaid fraud, a majority of them by way of Chris Mays. But this specific case stems back to the time of former AG Mark Brnovich in 2022, then accusing this entrepreneur of fraud, theft, and money laundering. Now he's one of the faces of fraud, the state asking the judge for a 4-year prison sentence, but that didn't happen.
I'm going to impose on count 3 4 years of probation with a deferred jail time to start December 15th.
30-year-old John Wick.
Wait, she said probation? This man has done fraud, theft, and money laundering and gets 4 years probation. This looks like it's one of those other soft on crime cities, just like New York City. That's crazy. 4 years probation.
Nathan sentenced to 4 years of probation for each of the 2 counts he pled guilty to earlier this year: illegal control of an enterprise and solicitation to commit money laundering. The sentences will run concurrently, the judge saying under the plea agreement she could only choose between prison or probation.
So why didn't she choose prison?
Nathan apologized to the state and taxpayers.
And at this moment, I've learned, and I take full responsibility, because that's part of having character as well as taking responsibility for your action.
But he did not apologize to the Native American Access members he took advantage of. Nathan is a self-proclaimed entrepreneur and author of a self-improvement book to build success, but he was caught pushing a behavioral health scam during the pandemic. The provider he owned, Harbor Health Integrated, billed access for 23 to 24 hours of services to his patients daily under the American Indian Health Plan. According to the state, services were never rendered to at least 10 Access members, and at the time, AIHP was under far less scrutiny. Nathan rarely billed the state's Medicaid agency for less than 12 hours per day for weeks and months on end. All of his patients were Native American, and the former CEO of Harbor Health told special agents that Nathan's motivation was, quote, the money.
In Access investigation,
there's always the money.
Viewed social media posts that showed an extravagant lifestyle with many luxury automobiles, luxury properties.
And his Instagram account shows exactly that. Nathan driving multiple Ferraris. The Arizona AG.
And this man has the nerve to talk about character, yet he's out here scamming Native American people and the taxpayers out of millions of dollars so he can go drive Ferraris and live in a nice mansion. Talking about character. Yep.
G's office says Nathan ran the Medicaid fraud scheme from March 2020 to August 2021. Court records say in one case he continued to bill Access for another month on behalf of a discharged patient who went home to Navajo Nation making almost $100,000. Fox 10 obtained records from Access that show Harbor Health Integrated was paid nearly $21 million in total reimbursements for treatment services. It's unknown how much of it is determined to be fraud. Nathan's attorney said the defendant should have realized early on the money was too good to be true.
I've learned to not allow materialistic things or the words of others to encourage your behaviors or to cloud judgment, to cloud intention.
So, Justin, after watching that video, seeing the Ferrari and things like that, how much does this defendant have to pay back after making all of that money?
A good question, Mark. Nathan has agreed to pay back $2 million in restitution to the state, but the judge said if he does not put any efforts into paying that back or not follow probation guidelines, he could face jail time by December 15th.
This is absolutely crazy. He only has to pay back $2 million of the money he stole fraudulently, and he only gets probation for that.
You mentioned Attorney General Brnovich, and this happened under kind of his watch, but it's taken a while, right, to get this conviction.
Yeah, and really since Chris May stepped into office, her agents have been very aggressive on this issue, and there's still a lot of investigating to be done with this whole scheme. Through further records requests, Fox 10 has learned that between the 7 behavioral health providers indicted in this scheme, Access has paid them a total of nearly $170 million. So in just John Wick Nathan's case alone, this is just scratching the surface on all of this fraud.
Yeah, a lot of people need to be held accountable. Justin, thanks so much.
Well, we do have more information on this case. Fake Arizona rehab center scams Native Americans from across the country, officials warned during investigation. Autumn Nelson said she was seeking help for alcohol addiction last spring when fellow members of the Blackfeet Nation in Montana suggested a rehabilitation center in Phoenix, far to the south. The 38-year-old said the center even bought her a one-way airline ticket to make the 1,300-mile journey. But Nelson said after a month she was kicked out after questioning why there was one therapist for 30 people and no Native American staff despite a focus on Native clients. All of a sudden, I was out in the 108-degree heat in Phoenix, Arizona, said Nelson. I was scared and didn't know where to go. Now, back on the Blackfeet Reservation, Nelson is among hundreds of Native Americans who have been targeted by Phoenix area scammers. The billing schemes often left clients homeless and in some cases financed lavish lifestyles for the fraudulent providers, authorities have said. Arizona has been defrauded in recent years out of hundreds of millions of dollars through such scams, stated officials estimate. The fraudulent charges were submitted mostly through the American Indian Health Program, a Medicaid health plan that allows providers to bill directly for reimbursement of services rendered to Native Americans and Alaska Natives. Federal law lets Native Americans enroll in federally recognized tribes choose the fee-for-service plan or a managed care plan. The state medical program known as Access, that's Access, Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment Center, contracts with managed care organizations to provide health services to most Medicaid members in Arizona, while the fee-for-service plan allows Native Americans to use any provider registered with Access. The scam's far-reaching consequences are now being known as warnings are sounded by the state and tribal governments outside Arizona, as well as Montana's U.S. Senator John Tester, a Democrat, and Governor Greg Giafanti, a Republican. The scams exploded during COVID-19 lockdowns. There were a lot of rules relaxed that allowed those scammers to get in, said Dr. John Molina, Health Service Director for the federally funded Native Health, a healthcare center serving Native Americans in Phoenix. He said addiction among Native Americans is rooted in generational trauma. Last year, here's your boy right here. Last year, John Wick Nathan, 29, was indicted on multiple counts of fraud, money laundering, and forgery. Authorities allege Nathan illegally billed Medicaid on behalf of Native American clients, a charge he denies. He is scheduled to be tried September 18th. The scams can be highly lucrative. In a federal case, a woman who operated a fake recovery program in Mesa, Arizona, pleaded guilty in July to wire fraud and money laundering after raking in over $22 million in Medicaid money between 2020 and 2021 for service never provided. This is why it's very important for people who ever go to the doctor or get billed some crazy bill from any medical facility. Always get a breakdown of the bill, because you'll be surprised by how easy it is for them to charge you for stuff that they never even provided for you, which is why a lot of these bills are these ridiculously expensive, not crazy expensive. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Court records don't say whether patients were Native American, only that they were brought to the facility just once and billings were sequentially made in their names up to 90 days. Billings were also made for dead people and prisoners. It's crazy. Diana Marie Moore, 42, will be sentenced December 18th after an investigation by the IRS. A federal court required her to forfeit property obtained through the fraud, including 4 homes, 7 high-end vehicles and luxury items, including Rolex watches, diamond rings, and a rainbow of Louis Vuitton handbags. Yeah, the Medicaid is probably one of the biggest schemes that have been going on for a very, very long time. And it's only gotten worse since COVID-19 happened. Navajo police visiting Phoenix in recent months have encountered hundreds of Native Americans living in the streets after centers closed, said Harlan Cleveland, Special Operations Manager for Rainbow Bridge. Many are inebriated and don't have cell phones to call their families, he said. Man, and the simple fact, this is the fact that this guy only got 4 years probation instead of jail time. There's something deeper going on there with him and the judge. They may be in cahoots. The judge may be getting kickbacks, but that doesn't seem right to me at all. He can do all this, scam all these people out of millions of dollars, make them homeless, and only 4 years probation. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll see y'all next time.